what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to... just turn that off. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Paul, Quantum Eraser, and The One in G+. How are you all doing?
Hello.
I'm not in Discord, I'll tell you that much.
No, I know you're not. We've also got a whole bunch of people in Discord, though. Hello, everyone in Discord.
Hello.
Very good to have you all. Didn't hear that. Say that again. It wouldn't be the start of the show without rumblings from Discord. So Darren, go ahead, Darren.
My pal, Roy Heaton, Chickamauan, I can wear cheese boy back.
Yeah, next Tuesday maybe. We can't hear you. You're just not loud enough, Darren.
Can I adjust that on?
Anyway, any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from Missouri.
Sorry to disappoint, but no, nowhere.
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Yeah, last time
Nope.
I heard they broke their axis.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Scientific evidence of what?
Gravity, the bending of a conceptual medium to giving rise to a non-force, or force that you can think of as a force that's not actually a force, called gravity.
No, I cannot have scientific evidence for stuff that doesn't exist.
That's correct. Yeah, there is no scientific evidence of gravity. Moving on. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure? Like the stuff we all breathe on a daily basis? The gas pressure we definitely know exists. Without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon, as is asserted in the fundamentalist sphere belief of a sky vacuum, otherwise known as outer space. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container?
No, we definitely need the necessary antecedent for gas pressure, which is the container.
Hey, Chocolate.
So,
Good morning, guys.
hey, Chocolate, managed to catch your coffee?
What's up?
Did you catch your accelerating coffee cup? I think that was what the one meant.
Yes. Didn't accelerate too much that I couldn't catch it. Because it was just sitting there on my table, so it's therefore not accelerating.
Speaking of nonsense, any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth? Hey, Arwin.
The drawings on a paper. Will that count?
Drawings in a textbook or on paper? No. Evidence that we have a molten iron core.
Hello.
Hello.
No,
You got-
no evidence.
What's this? What's
Nope.
Paul got up?
Yeah.
What's up, Arwen?
Up,
What
jump
you
I was
got?
gonna,
There's
I was gonna say,
Hey, Arwen.
I think all the ancient cultures understood the necessity of a container with gas pressure, except NASA. That's all. That was all I was gonna say.
Let's go.
They all understood it.
Gotcha. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a very, very tough one. It seems that, yeah, as soon as people try to estimate some kind of distance, it really all comes down to what are you going to presuppose the Earth's surface to be geometrically in order to establish an apparent location based on triangulation. But as to an actual measured distance, I've never seen anything that actually concerns some kind of empirical measurement.
Yeah, but there are
No, they're
groups of
wrong.
people that
They're wrong on any measurement numbers for the sun because they're wrong on the nature of the Earth to begin with. So they're
But
measuring off of
it's not a measurement. That's the whole thing. It's a calculation based on a presupposition and then using trigonometry. There's no actual measuring going on. That's the
I
problem.
was trying to talk, and yes, absolutely correct. But I'm trying to say it in the terms that they give us the garbage. So they're measuring, which they're not measuring, from an Earth that's not a ball, that's not spinning, and yet they want us to believe they know the distance from here to the sun. Give me a break.
I think George Musa should be cited in all pages of textbooks. You can think of it as that, but it's not that. After every text learned in school, like in science. Hey kids, Earth, the sun is 93 million miles away. You can think of it as 93 million miles away, but it's not.
Right. Oh, did you guys notice my the video I posted of this guy that thought he proved the Earth is a globe by putting sticks on the ground? And I put that comment there that said putting two sticks in the ground in different places and calculating the sun's angle difference is not proving the Earth is a globe. It is begging the question for a logical fallacy. I'd hope to get more upvotes on that just to bring it to his attention.
Yeah, I went to it, Arwen. I gave you an upvote.
Thanks.
Speaking of presuppositions, any evidence of the presupposition itself, the R value, Earth radius?
No.
Dominus Spiritus Sanctus, in R you trust.
Thank you for the blessing.
There's no evidence for any of these things. They live in the world of math, M-A-T-H, and they reverse it so it makes sense. So they make up things so the math works out. They have no evidence. They're no longer scientists.
They're pseudoscientists.
Hmm.
Liars. Pretender clowns.
They're scientizers.
I'd take that as a no. That concludes the housekeeping.
Scientizers. Scientizers committing scientism.
For the worst
Say
of humanity.
scientizers?
Yeah.
What's that? That's the new shit?
I just made it up.
They should be
Say
sanitized.
that.
Scientizers
Arwen.
making up scientism.
Arwen, say scientizers in a thick German accent. It'll sound better.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
So, say scientizers in a thick German accent. It will sound more official.
Scientizers?
Oh, he was halfway right.
I'm buying it. The accent makes sense, like the math.
What math?
Let's recap. So we're not living on a flying ball.
No, the math actually does work out in their lie. That's the problem.
Yeah, but math still works out on a flat surface.
See, they're trying to say math doesn't lie, but the fact that they lied about the math negates that.
Well, math is reality as long as it's based on global geometry, or what is it? Geometry. That's their real argument when they say that.
Well, when you already know what you want, you just reverse engineer the math, so you always get what you want instead of being honest.
Exactly.
I'd like to know when I walk across the street and I get hit with an equation, then I'll know that math is reality. So then, math is math and reality is reality. That's just how I see it.
Yeah.
Math could do. You could do whatever the hell you want. Put whatever numbers you want.
Well, can you imagine that you would consider something as not real if you can't calculate it somehow? Can you imagine?
Yeah, quite easily. They have a presupposition of an R value and a spherical world that's based on it flying through a vacuum. It's not difficult to consider the idea of somebody reifying mathematics into a reality worldview. That's definitely not difficult. We're living in it.
I was actually more implying, like, can you imagine like trying to calculate feelings or something? Like, how do you can't define everything in math, you know?
Oh.
Things still exist that just you can't really calculate it in math. No,
But
like opinions.
isn't math like words? It just describes stuff in numbers.
Right.
You're saying your feelings aren't calculable.
Yeah.
Can you describe it in math?
No.
No.
Exactly.
But sometimes even words cannot describe them. So it's the same thing.
Right. Well, despite me not being able to describe feelings in math,
You can't describe
they
that
still
either.
exist.
Yeah, you can't describe that either. Got a thunderstorm passing over here. That's why I'm so quiet.
Oh.
Got any globe believers in Discord?
Any pear shape, guys?
Anybody catch a red pill this morning?
I did, but I didn't really know what he was on about. He was mainly about Simon Dan.
Yeah, I woke up and he was going at Simon Dan. I'm like, what the hell?
Can you repeat that, Chocolate?
Huh?
Can you repeat that?
I said when I woke up, I saw red pill philosophy, which means he was going at Simon Dan. I guess Simon Dan had called him out or something, or made a video about him. I don't know. But he was bitching him out because he's like, why don't you come and debate anybody live? Which apparently he doesn't. So I don't know. It's pretty funny.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say it was about the trampoline pulled by a tractor.
What an image.
Right. The one that proves Coriolis by not showing deviation? Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Right.
Simon Dan Ken Coriolis.
Hey, Chocolate.
Who's that? Hello? Is that Erwin?
Hey.
No, not you.
No, I know, but Erwin is a guy I met at the Amsterdam conference. He's Dutch.
Oh, hey, Owen.
I think it was Redman.
So I take it you. Sorry, just to round that out. So you don't know either what his beef was, because I didn't catch that either. chocolate.
Wait, say that again?
I didn't catch what Red Pill's beef actually was because I came in midway through the stream. So
no, I don't. I can't say because I think you came into the chat soon after I did, so I didn't catch much. I just heard him calling him out, saying that he couldn't really. He doesn't debate anybody live, so he's just kind of a bitch. That's kind of what I caught. So I'm assuming I guess got mentioned by Simon Dan or made a video. I'm not too sure. But yeah, he was calling him out. And then I think he stopped into the chat real quick, Simon Dan, and then left again. So I don't know. It's just kind of funny, him calling him out.
Does anybody know if Simon Dan is related to Captain Sensible?
So related to who?
It's Captain Sensible, Logic and Cheese, Mobhead on YouTube.
You're really hard to make out, my friend.
I think he said Captain Sensible, but he does need to fix his mic.
Tenth man.
Hello?
Yes, tell Nathan to check his DMs on Discord.
I'm in Discord myself.
I know, tell Nathan to check his, please.
Yeah, but he could hear you as well as me. You catch that, Nathan?
check what?
Check your DMs on Discord. Someone
I don't know
said.
what that is. I'm good.
I have no idea what
That's
I have no
like
idea what that means.
your inbox, your personal message.
I don't know what
direct
that is.
message.
I don't, this is beyond what I do with this Discord server now. This is what I use it for. What is it you want to say? Just say it.
I'll send it to Chocolate.
Are you talking to
For
Chocolate?
that red man, right?
Yes, sir. I'll send it to you, and you can share it to Nathan, Master B.
I
That's
got
too
you.
easy. Yeah, perfect. Can you give us a clue?
One, two, three.
Well, I know one thing. After Coriolis got beat to death, Earth-based variety that is, that doesn't exist, the Globers are shy about coming onto the show.
Yeah, saying you don't understand reference frames doesn't last very long as an argument.
They have nothing left. They lost it all.
What's so hard
There you
about
go,
understanding? What's so hard about understanding what a reference frame is?
No, there isn't. That's just their only defense when the idea that Earth has a reference frame that's demonstrating a Coriolis deviation is smashed into oblivion because nothing's demonstrating Coriolis deviation. Their defense is to say, you don't understand reference frames.
And then they put out videos to deny deviation.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them have got so lost in the weeds of the argument that they think the argument is to justify the lack of deviation. that's how far into the weeds they've got. So, yeah.
That was
And they come here and quickly find out that they're supposed to be showing deviation to prove Earth spins. It's just a shame there isn't any. It must be a bit of a shock to some of them when they go, yeah, look, here you go, look, things don't deviate. Oh yeah, they're supposed to if you want to prove Earth spins though. And suddenly they go, what? What do you mean?
Yeah. And I think you woke them up with the bullet being in the air for a split second versus something being in the air longer should show deviation more. I think that woke them up a bit.
And $100 super chat from David Rakia Gifford. It says, come on, normal ballers, share your normal pain. Rakia life. Thanks for the super chat, Dave. Rakia,
shout out to Rakia.
Don't you think, I just with a bit of empathy, you can kind of put yourself in their position and go, wouldn't that be a bit of a shock, though, if you'd been following along with the argument and you feel that the most sensible way to move forward is to demonstrate why planes don't deviate? Because that makes sense, right? That seems like a logical argument to be having, until a flat earther points out that you're supposed to be showing it deviate. Wouldn't that be a bit of a shock to you if you were a fundamentalist globe believer?
With an IQ and science acumen less than 0? No thanks. These guys are clowns.
Do you think just cognitive dissonance immediately sets in?
No, not cognitive dissonance. Retards.
Just stupidity.
I don't know. Cognitive dissonance can make you pretty retarded if you can't overcome it.
No, it's retards with the clinical level Dunning-Kruger syndrome. That's precisely what they are. All of them.
Dunning-Kruger is
Of course, they charge us with that as well, though, John. So,
No, well, I can back it up. I'm not just saying that. I can show case by case by case, thousands of them. That's the difference. See, I got cowbell. That's the difference.
Can we define Dunning-Kruger for some of us who don't really know what that means?
Look it up.
It's in there, chocolate. It's in there.
Yeah, I got you. I posted it to Master B.
These are memes, right?
Yeah, a couple of pictures.
Did these want displaying?
Say that again?
You want me to put them up?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess that was the purpose.
Anyone see Professor Dave hanging around the flat Earth recently?
No, but I got a recommendation in my YouTube the other day from a video he did on thermodynamics like 3 years ago. So I thought that was kind of funny. I didn't watch it, but I was just like, what the hell? First of all, why am I getting this recommended? And second of all, what the hell are you talking about thermodynamics?
Thermodynamics? He doesn't know jack squat about it. I exposed his dumb ass like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I haven't seen him around. It's a good thing. Don't come around there, Professor Dave. I don't know how I could show your face after that. To be honest with you. Clown.
So on the Red Pill philosophy broadcast earlier, Chocolate, I was trying to communicate to Red Pill the fact that Simon Dan is YouTube verified. So he's in a position where he's essentially ridiculing people on his channel and talking about a subject that apparently isn't to be talked about on YouTube, Flat Earth. But yet he's YouTube verified.
That is a little funny, right? Is that what that check next to his name is about?
Yeah, that means YouTube approve. They're like, he's our man. He's YouTube verified. He's doing what YouTube approve of, other than attacking people who are fellow YouTubers and talking about a subject that apparently shouldn't be talked about. It seems that what they should put in a disclaimer in brackets afterwards is, unless you're ridiculing the crap out of it, then in which case all of the other rules don't apply and we'll give you verification.
What's the process of verifying your channel?
I don't know. I'm nowhere near popular enough to even consider that. I don't know.
I didn't realize that was actually like a thing. Like that little check was a YouTube verified check.
Yeah.
Like, so,
well, I didn't know till about a week ago. So there's a guy called Sam Time Australian guy who just like piss takes out of people like Samsung and Apple and sort of mimics their ads but in parody form. I like him. Fun. Subscribe today, Sam Time. That's where I nicked that from, actually. Subscribe today. That's Sam Time. Anyway, he lost his verification about a week ago. So he was YouTube verified, and then he hit 200,000 subscribers and lost his verification. And he's like, put a little video about it. And I was like, I didn't really appreciate that was a thing until Sam Time was talking about that. So, and then obviously then you notice it everywhere, right? And I was just like, okay, well, who is verified? And suddenly you can see Simon down with his little tick and go, oh, right. So that's what they want. They want people to ridicule Flat Earth.
Sci-fi
1984.
scam. Sci-fi scam is so daft. He couldn't spell cat if you spotted him the C and the A, for crying out loud.
Maybe we should just call him Side Chat then, since that's the only place he actually spends his time. In the side chat.
Side chat done.
Yeah.
Wait, so who else is YouTube verified? Because I don't see anybody else with that YouTube check.
Well, in our arena, I don't think anybody. I mean, if you can tell me someone else is YouTube verified, then I'd be happy to hear it. But as far as I'm aware, that's it. Yeah, obviously there's plenty of YouTubers that are verified, but I'm just talking in this particular small corner of the internet known as Flat Earth.
So journalism should be verified soon. He has lots of subscribers.
Yeah, but journalism is pro-Flat Earth.
He's pro-Flat Earth,
That's
so
the difference.
that's not allowed. Correct, Chocolate. Sorry, I talked right over that.
No, it's all good.
But exactly, yeah, you know, it's not part of the rules. So if you're pro-Flat Earth, that's definitely not allowed. If you're anti-Flat Earth, then you'll get verified, even if you're ridiculing people.
You can think
all
of it
these
as
all these heads.
Go on, Ted, man.
All the heads of these tech companies in the past few months, if not a year even, spoke in front of Congress here in the U.S. under oath. Come to find out, they lied about everything. So why are we surprised?
Well, we're not, but many of the people who are watching and on the Globe side might not like hearing this, but they're suffering Stockholm Syndrome. They'll be lied to repeatedly and still defend the rhetoric, even in the face of the liars overtly telling them or changing part of their rhetoric. They'll still absolutely still worship them. That's Stockholm Syndrome.
It's an issue of not wanting to think for yourself and trusting authority and being lazy about running down the truth. It's just not important to them, I guess.
It's so easy to be spoon-fed your information about your worldview. Yeah, they come along, here comes the choo-choo train, Earth's a sphere. And that will continue throughout your adult life if you allow it to.
It's not
Yeah, there are people like that.
Well, most people are like, it's too much to have to worry about being lied to on a massive scale. I'd much rather just be spoon-fed my worldview and, you know, I'll go along with the crowd. That's far, far easier to just fit in.
Yeah, but they'll defend their favorite football team or baseball team or basketball team and know every detail about that. But when it comes to something really important, no, that's just a conspiracy theory.
Oh, absolutely. The mundane nonsense is positively encouraged to be discussed and debated. Like the football teams, as you put it. Yeah, that's positively encouraged. Nature of reality and whether or not you're being lied to about it, that needs to be ridiculed.
Thank God.
Well, because at the end of the day, you don't have to adjust your life in any way. Just because you find out it's not a spinning ball, it's not like now you have to stop adjusting for movement, or you gotta, you don't have to make those types of changes because you already experienced a flat stationary plane.
Well, that
the only
might be
difference
true.
is now it's your mind state that you have to change.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it, for them? That's what they want. Yeah, they don't give a shit whether or not you recognise the nature of your actual reality around you in physicality. They want control of your mind. The government. Mind control, right? They want you, as an individual, to be thinking along their lines, their thoughts.
So chocolate, after RC Cola told you your coffee cups were accelerating, you didn't make any adjustments?
Nah, I still get coffee and I sit it on the table and it still does not accelerate. It's just where I put it.
I want to just before we go off on that. Look, yeah, chocolate's right. The nature of your reality, the world that you see with your two eyes and hear with your ears, that's not going to change. You know, recognition of what it actually is doesn't change how it's been when you thought differently about it. The world doesn't suddenly unfold from being spherical when you realise that it was always flat, always will be flat. Nothing changes. You're correct, but that, like I say, that's not what they want. They don't want you to, you know, walk out into the world and actually see a curve. That's irrelevant. They just want control of how you think, and having you under control is what they require. And no, you're not necessarily going to change any of your worldviews in physical terms, but what you might do is stop watching television, for example, or stop listening to the argument about blue versus red, or paying attention to the football match. You know, all of those things are very bad because they leave you with extra time to actually consider things, as opposed to sitting in front of a TV to be spoon-fed on a daily basis. Well, those are the things that you might relinquish as a result of realising you've been lied to. And some of those things people don't want to relinquish. It's like the scene in The Matrix where Neo's having explained by Morpheus that many of the people in the system don't want to let go of the system. They're happy with the system. They like the system. They want to eat hot dogs and watch TV. And as a consequence of realising the nature of your reality and how you've been lied to, mostly through things like TV and the media, you're going to go, oh, well, I don't really want that anymore. And just by how you will naturally deal with it. So abandoning those control structures, which is ultimately what things like TV are, that's the reason for the control in the first place. They want you to be under control. And appreciating that you're lied to might mean they lose that control.
And that's why the agents
It's interesting.
pop out.
It's interesting
Which
that
I consider to be a lot of these globers. I'm sorry, Tiff, man. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead. I'll come after.
Chocolate time.
No, I was just gonna say, like, that's when the Agent Smiths pop out. Like, that's what I consider a lot of these globers that come in here and want to fight this nonsense every day. They're the Agent Smiths who are trying to keep, you know, the regular people from finding out the truth or even trying to consider it in any normal way. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're the ones that get called chills.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I talk to people now, I say, hey, have you watched The Matrix? Do you know about the Matrix movies and what they're trying to put out there as a message? And I say, well, that's exactly what I'm realizing we're in right now, is that you and me on a human level can't even agree if the earth is spinning or not. You're buying all the government BS, and I'm asking you to think for yourself, and all you could do is make fun of me. Now, why are you making fun of me when you can't even prove one part of your globe fantasy? It's really incredible that the actual movie Matrix is actually happening right now.
Well, it's kind of it's inverted though, isn't it? So, you know, in the reality and the world of the real, as they call it in the Matrix, they're out in a sort of desolate desert with everything having been burnt because the machines burnt the sky. Right, that's the world of the real. And then when they go into the world of the Matrix, it's like we see in our reality. So there's buildings, you know, I think it's in New York or somewhere similar with lots of, you know, high rises. And that's the world that's presented as the fake, if you like, TV world, the not real world. It's the illusion world that's pumped into your brain via a cable. Well, the illusion world is the heliocentric world, space. There's plenty of space movies that you're watching. You haven't got a cable into your head. You've got eyeballs and ears. And you can watch and hear the sounds, sights, not smells, of space on your television screen. You can get news updates about what they're doing in space. So that's the sort of parallel that the Matrix has. Their fake world, their TV world, is actually our real world. You know, it does just look like that when you look around in reality. But when you watch on the Matrix vision that is your TV screen, they're showing you a world of planets out in a vacuum of the sky that you'll never experience, but you believe is your real world. Now, the link isn't a connection into the back of your skull. It's just the TV screen. It's just the radio and the newspapers and the bullshit that you'll talk about at the office that seems important because you're told it's important.
Can I just go back
Yeah,
to
they-
Trenton
Go on, the one.
answer when he said about them laughing? When he tells them something, that the bad thing is that nowadays they think that they're cool and they think that they're smarter when they're laughing at you. This is the big problem. They're so far out of in touch with reality that it's unthinkable.
Well, that's the problem that a lot of the fundies that aren't familiar with the show have when they come here and they join the Discord server. It happened a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Back to the Future. Someone will come in. Their assumption is their position is correct. And they're told, incorrectly, that of course flat earthers are by default wrong. This is the idea of a Philistine. This is an archaic notion. Therefore, you are automatically correct in your assertion that Earth's a sphere. And you can be confident when you go and challenge flat earthers in their stupidity. And you can just call them stupid because that's what they are. So most people come here with the same confidence that you're describing. They're automatically assuming they're correct. Therefore, why would it be any challenge to come here? And normally when they're handed their ass, it's a total shock. You get deer in the headlights or hysterical laughter. Because they can't quite comprehend the fact that they're having their ass handed to them by somebody that's deemed to be, by the mainstream media, incompetent and retarded.
Hey, by the way, talking about Back to the Future, since we kind of want to get some Globers in here, I wanted to share something that I kind of remember right now from Back to the Future, like in 1997 or something. I remember having these very elaborate discussions about time travel and how it couldn't work because, like Doc Brown and his car, they would basically be appearing in the middle of space because the Earth would have traveled in a wider circle location-wise, so you could never end up at the proper place. I remember having that discussion back then.
Damn, never thought of that.
Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I did.
That's one for the fundies, though. That's the kind of argument they love you to have because...
I know, that's why I'm bringing it up.
You're questioning heliocentrism and saying that time travel wouldn't be possible because the physical location of Earth would have changed in its trajectory around the Great Attractor or whatever they claim it's doing. But ultimately speaking, you're still talking about another aspect of Einsteinian mechanics when you talk about time travel.
Yep.
I kind of like that, though. It's like, how can you go back in time if where you appear, like if you appear in the same place, it won't be the same place because Earth would have obviously moved, right?
Time travel would only work if you have perfect spatial control, and then you would basically have a teleporter at it, or the Earth has to be absolutely stationary.
Hold on, let's just break this down. Right, what's traveling? What does traveling mean?
Jumping through a dimension to another time. Blah, blah, blah.
Traveling is what? Moving through dimensions? No, that's pretty elaborate. Just give it me in basic format. What's traveling?
Through Euclidean force space?
Just moving.
Moving from one
moving,
place to
right?
another.
Moving. That's traveling, right? What's time?
Concept.
A concept.
Time is the natural progression of all things.
Natural progression that we're now going to, what? Manipulate, change. It's just a progression, a concept of how things progress. So the idea of you're working outside of the concept itself when you start talking in terms of manipulation. It's no different to talking about manipulating gravity or space-time. You know, you're working outside the confines of the concept itself.
Yeah,
Right.
please give me 3 kilos of time.
This is where they want to have the discussion so they don't have to have the real discussion.
Yeah, they want parallel universes and Mandela effect and time travel and heliocentrism.
Hey,
So
I'm
they want
just
nonsense.
fishing for Globers. You know?
Just throwing out the bait.
Yep. Come on, Globers. This is interesting, right?
Space time, space travel.
What's
space
interesting
bullshit.
is the way the mainstream sometimes punts it is to say that it's interesting to see that science fiction will often become science fact. And then you become a flat earther and realise that science fiction was preordained by the people who will later give you science fact, which is also science fiction. So it's pre-programming nonsense with science fiction. So they're going to give you fiction, which they'll call science and is actually pseudoscience, but so you'll accept it easier, they'll give you science fiction in advance of the pseudoscience and then tell you that they've got science when in reality both are exactly the same thing. It's just you've been told what you were going to be told before you were told it, and then after the fact it's reinforced. So it's just your standard programming bullshit. First tell someone what you're going to tell them, then summarise what you've told them. And in the case of bullshit, do it with predictive programming and subliminal messages. Stick it into a movie as science fiction, then later present it as science fact, and then talk about it in summary as though that's the case.
Or just play it before every movie in Universal Pictures logo, like 20-something years before you go out in space, spin that ball before each movie, so you get them brainwashed.
Nah, don't mention that. Don't tell them that they had that symbol before they went to space, and they got it almost perfectly right. Don't say that. That's just a coincidence.
They just got a time machine. They saw it in the future, how it looked after space was explored.
Well, I'm taking a different tact at the moment with people. It's based on numerous shows here, as well as other things that we hear ballers say, and round and round and round we go with them. It's really a battle for the mind. So I'm challenging people to think, because the powers to be have them already. They're already in this how can I put it? This false world that, this false paradigm that they're in. So then when they meet a flat earther, they immediately mock us, which is a sign that someone's already got your mind and it's already programmed you to mock that concept or that idea that the earth may not be a ball, rather than discuss it and say, wait a minute, if it's a ball, then shouldn't this be happening? And then you run away from those nice arguments that we have, the 7 housekeeping questions. So at the end of the day, it's just the programming is exactly what it is. They want to program your mind. So we got to get to the mind and show these people are just sheep. They got to get pissed off that they've been programmed.
So shout out to the Rumpus who says in chat literally, you deserve to be mocked. You have the IQ of a root vegetable? Really? Mr. Air is not the atmosphere? Really?
Come on, Rumpus. Come on the show.
The
Come on,
dumper.
Rumpus.
Discord server's actually
We
full.
miss you.
full of quiet people.
Yeah, well, if Rumpus wants to come on, I'll go off because I want to hear him take down a root. Just put it in chat, Rumpus. I'll give you my spot.
It's like the side chat Dan will be the chumpas.
Come on, Rumpus, Mr. Coriolis at the equator.
There is some jiggery pokery going on in Discord, so if you do want to join, there is gaps on the panel. Link is in the info box below the video. Got about a quarter of an hour left on this live stream.
Yeah, some of the most absurd, stupidest things I've ever heard came out of Rumpus's mouth. I mean, the toe tags are just a show in themselves. Oh, you can understand the math behind Coriolis. How about just showing it to me? How about just showing Earth-based Coriolis and assume I don't know math? Just show it if it's real. Come on, Rumpus, quit lying.
Yeah, go get a video of it and show us the video of Coriolis happening in real world. Earth-based.
They can't. That's why he goes to math.
So every single person in mid-age, let's say, should have at least one proper evidence that he's living on spinning ball. Like everybody went through the education system, so there should be a lot of people capable of coming here and producing at least one good scientific evidence. There is none.
Yeah. Rumpus, cyclones and hurricanes. Is that where you're going? Actual weather? Hmm?
Right, let's just nip this in the bud. So, if there's a claim that a Coriolis effect, which is a not actual deviation observed from a non-inertial spinning reference frame, and it's claimed that hurricanes, for example, are an example of this, well then it would stand to reason that what you're actually observing is a trajectory of a wind that's straight, and you're observing a not actual deviation, just an apparent deviation because you're rotating underneath the straight trajectory of the wind. Now this is absurd. They have actual spin directions. It's absolutely nothing to do with Coriolis effect. Unless you're going to be sitting on a hurricane, rotating with it, and watching something that you throw from the hurricane. This is absurd. Hurricanes are not anything to do with Coriolis deviation on Earth, because they're an actual spin direction. They're not a not actual apparent deviation of something travelling straight but seeming to curve because you're rotating underneath. Rumpus doesn't understand what Coriolis effect. If he thinks that toilet water whirling down a toilet and hurricanes are actual spin directions that are not actual apparent spin directions, that's absurd. Stupid.
I got a question for you. If we're so dumb, why do you dedicate every single moment of your life watching us? We're here because we're flat earthers, and you're not, so why are you here?
Yeah, it would be akin to me spending an eternity on Magic the Gathering websites, telling them how stupid and, childish they are. Not that I've got anything against Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Why these people stalk us every single day. It makes no sense at all.
Hey, Dougie, I kind of want to quote Star Wars now. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who's the bigger fool, the fool or the fool that follows him?
That's the rumpus.
Well, Nathan, you put it
I have a
precisely
question.
there.
Maybe
If they're
I'm
going to
off
state,
base for asking.
if they're going,
Maybe I'm sorry, Tom. I always do that to you. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. It's all right.
So I was gonna say,
Actuality, we.
Alrighty then.
Oh, sorry, Chocolate. Go ahead.
It's okay, bro. I was gonna say, like, maybe I'm off base for asking this, right? But if they supposedly take pictures of hurricanes and quote unquote satellite photos of hurricanes and stuff, right? And they appear to be rotating from above them. Well, why would that be if they're only rotating due to a Coriolis force experienced by somebody in a non-inertial reference frame, which would be the rotating Earth?
Well, on top of that,
am I wrong there?
Even dare to
that
go
makes
there,
sense.
which Rumpus
from
did.
above. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what you're saying, if they're even going to do that, they lay a big trap for themselves. Because the minute that they want to prove that hurricanes prove Earth-based Coriolis, then the hovering drone, the helicopter, the airplane, the bullet, the footballs, all of it has to be also accounted for, and they're not. So
Actuality.
That's how you know that the hurricane is a false proof for them. Because if it happens with a hurricane the way they want us to know, then it's got to happen with everything else I just said. But it doesn't happen with everything else I just said, so they can't use the hurricane argument anymore. They're just doublespeak, coward liars like Rumpus, who won't come on the show, and if he does, he's broken within 60 seconds by a flat earther, and he can't take it anymore. His ego won't let him.
that 10th man, they just keep doubling down. First, it was when they realized that airplanes and helicopters aren't going to work for Coriolis, they switched to bullets. Then when they realized that that doesn't work, now they've switched to hurricanes. But in actuality, like, these people only exist because we do. If Flat Earth never existed, Rumpus wouldn't exist. Simon Dan wouldn't exist. We created these people, so they need to start giving us credit for that, because they would not exist if we didn't exist. And they actually make money off of using our material. So we do a lot for these guys.
Rumpus, I'm reading your last chat. Helicopters and airplanes don't move when they lift off, just like jumping up in the train, you come back down in the same place. Airplanes, etc., are guided and powered, winds are not. I could break that argument down in my sleep, you dingbat.
Brenda will say that the rumpus is a natural phenomenon.
So I suppose Earth is a closed system now, just like a train?
No,
Is
that's
that
what
what
he
you're
wants.
saying,
Hold
Rumpus?
on, I've got to stop you there. That's what he wants. Wants you to compare open and closed systems so we can then argue about that instead of Coriolis effect. So don't lose sight of what the argument is. He's saying it's like this example, we're arguing about Coriolis effect, and Earth needs Coriolis deviation to prove it spins. So his analogy is a train. When you throw a ball, well, that's not a deviation. You don't understand what Coriolis effect is. You're like Simon Dan, you stupid retard, Rumpus. An example with a train not showing deviation isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about Coriolis effect, you stupid dick. Now, the train's not giving you a deviation, and that's precisely what you need when you're talking about Coriolis effect. So let's not talk about planes not giving you deviations, and trains not giving you deviations when you're inside them. We're talking about Earth rotating underneath, Coriolis deviation. As claimed by Neil deGrasse Tyson, the ball gets kicked and the Earth rotates underneath. So when you're talking about a ball deflecting, or seeming to deflect as you observe it from the non-inertial spinning reference frame claimed to be Earth, that's Coriolis effect. Now when you throw up a ball in a train, that's not Coriolis effect, you stupid idiot. Don't you understand the subject we're talking about? It seems
a train is not
hold on 1 second. I'm not
Earth.
done berating Rumpus.
Because a train is a
I'm not
closed
done
system.
berating Rumpus, Babs. It seems you're stupid, Rumpus. As stupid as Simon Dan. If you want to talk here about Coriolis effect, you need to understand what Coriolis effect is. And it's a deviation. A deviation from a non-inertial reference frame. A not actual deviation, an apparent deviation, a looking like it's deviating when it isn't, because you've got a rotating frame underneath. That example is not given to you by a ball returning to your hand, because that's not deviating, you stupid little man. You're as stupid as Simon Dan, who also clearly doesn't understand the argument here that's attempting to prove Earth spins. Deviation is what you require. So your example on a train not giving you deviation, like an example on a trampoline with boards stopping the air movement when towed by a tractor, a not deviation isn't going to give you proof Earth spins. So why on earth would Rumpus be here detailing examples when we're arguing about Coriolis effect that don't give you deviation? Well, because he's going to justify why Earth doesn't give you Coriolis effect with his little train example with a ball not deviating. Understand this. Take this as an education in Coriolis effect, Rumpus, you stupid little man. You need deviation in your examples, and your train doesn't give you that. Clearly, you are so stupid that you don't actually understand what Coriolis effect is. It's an apparent deviation, not a lack of deviation like your example throwing up a ball in a train. That's not Coriolis effect, you stupid man. We're talking about the claim Earth spins. That's what we're debating here. You, with your off-in-the-weeds examples that don't give you deviation, have absolutely nothing to do with the claim that Earth spins. You need deviation, not a lack thereof. Try to get with the program. We understand what reference frames are here. And when you've got a train with a ball returning to your hand, you've only got one reference frame. Coriolis effect needs two. It seems these fundies, like Simon Dan and Thicko Rumpus, don't understand what Coriolis effect is and don't understand what reference frames are. You need two of them to prove Earth spins. It's as simple as that. Giving us endless examples with only one reference frame clearly demonstrates that you don't understand reference frames or Coriolis deviation because you keep giving us examples that don't have it. So get with the program, Rumpus. You need to show examples with deviation to prove Earth spins, not justify why you don't have deviation with single reference frame examples like a train, because that ball's not deviating when it returns to your hand, and you need it to prove Earth spins with 2 reference frames. You complete idiot. You and Simon Dan are 2 for a pair, both completely stupid. Deviation is the name of the game if you're trying to prove Earth spins, not showing us why it doesn't. You understand it, thickos?
No.
Yeah, and Rumpus, a train is moving in rectilinear motion, which is not analogous to Earth because Earth is rotating, and that train isn't rotating. So using that as an example is flawed as well.
He's using the same argument he used years ago. It's just rinse and repeat inside a train, damn near a closed system. You don't live in a closed system, you moron. You live on your paradigm fairy tale Earth, open system. Number 2, shameless plug time. At 2 p.m. U.S. Central on the Quantum Eraser channel, it's Robert Bassano and I from a hangout a few years ago. And Thursday, Robert Bassano. And then next Tuesday, live, Robert Bassano interview on the Quantum Eraser channel. Be here, be spear.
Why doesn't Rumpus just explain to us what Earth-based Coriolis effect would look like for Simon Dan? Well, and then let them come in and defend that position.
Why are you asking
why
Rumpus?
Are you even asking him questions?
Yeah, well, good point, QE. Why would you ask this man? He's just, while we're detailing Coriolis and arguing about it on the show, he's in the chat talking about single reference frames and balls returning to your hand. A lack of deviation. So he doesn't understand Coriolis effect. There's no point asking Rumpus anything. He doesn't understand the constituent parts of Coriolis effect, 2 reference frames. These people who accuse us of not understanding reference frames are simply projecting their own ineptitude onto us. He doesn't understand what is needed to prove Earth spins. Can you pop yourself on mute, Paul? 2 reference frames, not a train showing you a lack of deviation, you complete moron. And I will say it again. Rumpus is as stupid as Simon Dan to give us an example that doesn't show deviation when Coriolis effect is an apparent deviation caused from a non-inertial spinning reference frame rotating underneath an inertial one, giving you an apparent deviation. So all these crappy examples like trampolines and balls being thrown up and down in closed trains with single reference frames being claimed to be demonstrated doesn't give you Earth spin proof. It's just a simple ham-handed justification why we don't have proof Earth spins, because we don't see things deviating. So that's what they'll argue. Look, here's something that doesn't deviate, because they don't understand Coriolis. They're stupid. Simon Dan being the first example of stupidity, and then Rumpus now backing that stupidity to the hilt, showing us single reference frames. Don't you understand reference frames in Coriolis effect, Rumpus? You need 2 of them, you stupid idiot. Just dumb. Beyond dumb. If you want to talk about single reference frames examples, Dumbo, you clearly don't understand Coriolis effect, do you? It seems you are stupid. That's why you're here, to demonstrate over and over again just how stupid you are, giving us single frame examples of Coriolis that needs 2 frames of reference. Maybe you'd like to tell me I don't understand frames of reference, Rumpus, while you demonstrate how you don't have deviation, the very thing you need to prove Earth spins. You complete idiot. With that, I'll say if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, then this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. As I say, stay tuned if you are watching on Nathan Oakley premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!